Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. I'm Pete, and I thought I would come on. I tried to get on yesterday to do a bit of world building with you guys. Sorry about the lights here. Just got the sun coming in through the side window there. Tried to get on yesterday to do a bit of this. Unfortunately, life got in the way. Hello, Please Forever 1974, and I was unable to stream yesterday. However, here we are. So I am in the middle of, well, not in the middle of, at the beginning of preparing for all of the kind of scope of our new show, Chrome Dystopia, which we did the first episode of a couple of weeks ago. And I can actually put a link for that here for anyone who wants to find it later on and watch it. It was a lot of fun. I really like this Carbon 2185 from Dragon Turtle Games. Awesome little game. Let's get that nicely on the screen there. There you go. By Robert Mariner Dodds. Very nice chap. We are being sponsored for our Chrome Dystopia show, and you can get 10% off your basket at Dragon Turtle Games. All you have to do is put in the discount code GARBLAG and you'll get 10% off. So that can be any Carbon 2185 stuff, but they also do 5th edition D&D, drag and drop adventure modules, and all kinds of other stuff. This game is based on 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, so a lot of you out there watching this afterwards will know the rules and a bit about how it works, and we've started to explore it. Now in here, this gives you a fairly high level view of, as most of these books do, of the world. And what it has is it has a timeline for the events between modern day and the eponymous year of 2185. Bit about corporations, a bit about gangs, other groups that might be interesting, and then it goes into a high-level summary of San Francisco's sort of the makeup of San Francisco, which is the basis of the game. Although they are bringing out a cities book, which will be a 220-page deep dive into London. And it's gone out of my head straight away. I can find out shortly. Three cities. I think it's Tokyo and Manhattan. So they're bringing that book out. Hey Kansas. Hey Telly Duckstar. How you doing? It must be I was going to say morning over there. If anyone notices my nice rosy cheeks, that's because today it's quite hot in the UK and I'm in a shed. Streaming for you. Okay, here we go. Also, hence the big bottle of water. So, in the far future, environmental disaster has happened. So, the city is surrounded by a giant wall that blocks off toxic ocean. Governments are mere shadows of their former selves. Mega corporations run society. And yes, indeed, Ben. Fish from Eggle. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for joining me. And basically, it's all of those wonderful things you hear in, all those dystopian, Altered Carbon, Blade Runner, Total Recall, all those kinds of science fiction settings that we all love. And in Carbon 2185, the futuristic San Francisco has been broken down into 5 districts. District 1 being the richest and District 5 being the poorest. And what I've been trying to do is kind of expand on that and, dig a bit deeper, go into some of the districts and think about how how each part of it is made up, and if I'm going to reference a contact or a location, where is it, how does it all fit together. I like to sort of dig in a bit and start making maps and writing out lists of contacts and potential events and things, rather than this game's, rather than being like a fixed story like the Pathfinder game we're running, Tears of the Dreamer, that I'm running. Sorry, Ben's also running one. That's quite a story. There was a mission. They've done the mission. They're heading their way back. So it's fairly linear. I mean, if the guys wanted to, they could wander off and do all kinds of other stuff. But we're kind of sticking with the story on that one at the moment. Whereas with this, what I've done is I've given each player a bunch of contacts that are in different locations and allow them to have different information. Some of them have gone into in-depth, backgrounds, which is really cool. It gives me more ammunition. And from that, from our initial adventure, which was a kind of let's get people used to combat, the world, what it's about, let's get the show going. Basically, I've been asking the players now to say what they want to do next, and some of them are recuperating and buying things, and some of them are investigating leads, and some of them are chasing up their own personal vendettas, which is great. And then I can start to sort of create what happens next for the viewers, as it were. So slightly meta, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, what I also want to do is I want to share all of my prep with patrons. So I'll quickly do our usual little spiel now that we've got a few people joined us. We have a Patreon, and we have now 50 awesome people who support us as of yesterday, and it's amazing that this even happens. I love doing this, as you can probably tell, and it's amazing that there are people who really enjoy what we do and want to support us. So all of our lovely patrons, thank you. We have various tiers, and if you're an adventurer, which is $4 a month tier or above, I'll be sharing all of the GM prep materials with you very soon. So what I wanted to go over was what I'd done so far, and then expand on a little bit more. So this here, as you can see, is roll 20, within which I have stashed our maps. Now, there's a little bit of detail in the book around what's going on around San Francisco, and when I found some aerial photography of the area, what are the people in chat talking about? Let's have a look. Looking forward to your Cyber Sahaugen, or am I mixing your games now? Don't give him or me ideas, says Ben. Please forever, like a cyberpunk half man, half cyber shark who run around biting people's heads off. Now, there you go. Excellent. I know one of the subplots of the game right now. Cyber sharks, half cyber sharks. That's cool. Don't forget to stick on some 80s music or retro electro or other such tunes to keep you company while we do this. I just don't want to get sued by anyone or in trouble with YouTube. Next time, I think what I'll do is try and find a good electronica track on the jukebox in Roll20, because I'm allowed to broadcast those, and we'll have that for the next session. I'm quite looking forward to doing this. So I grabbed some aerial photography of San Francisco from where, and I mean it's not any kind of detail that it reveals much information, and I'm not sort of using it for, I'm not creating a vehicle routing system off of someone's API, so let's not worry about that. So what I did was I got the outline of the land, and then was reading from the book. It said, we've got the districts, and this area here, let me get it right on your screen. So I also should say this is the first time I'm streaming with a new streaming software program. Normally I use just OBS, but now I'm using Streamlabs OBS, and I got to say it's actually a little bit slicker, a little bit smoother, and I've got proper full Twitch chat in the in the UI here, so it's pretty cool. If I'm looking off to one side, I'm either over here, I'm doing stuff with the maps and editing, and you'll see in what I get up to in a minute. If I'm looking over here, I'm just looking at the stream so I can make sure you guys can see what I think you can see. So here we've got the different districts, District 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, District 5 is the crud of the crud. It's at the bottom of the steep hills. All the effluent flows down and trash and stuff, and you get trash swamps and things, which actually is one of my locations I want to make sure I add in. District 4 is kind of all of the workers, the manufacturing area, the industrial area, which is interesting because there's this big park through the middle of it, which today is actually like beautiful. It's the same with Presidio here. There's like a whole park area before you get to the Golden Gate Bridge, which obviously will be absolutely trashed in 200 years' time. District 3, you're doing quite well for yourself. You're earning some money. You have a house, maybe, or a multi-room apartment, and you're sort of I think it's an entry-level programmer or middle manager, that kind of thing. You have skills that are slightly useful to a corporation. District 2, hey, you're in the big time now. You've got, your own house, possibly a window. And District 1 is the rich bastards who have, corporate security, longevity tanks inside their fortress-like bunkers. The super rich are so old that they rarely actually come out. So who you see in District 1 are actually all the people who work for all the mega rich, megacorp heads running around doing all their jobs, often synths. And then there were a few things that were mentioned outside of the city. One was this St. Francis Tree Preserve, which kind of sits as a barrier from the south, where there's badlands. I made this up. Tarmac City. There's an airport here, and I thought big open area would turn into some kind of refugee camp at one stage that would become slightly more permanent later on. As the waters rise, they would try and secure it off. Maybe this wall is just far enough for them. Oh, you can't actually see what I'm talking about. Let's roll down slightly. There you go. You can see what I mean. I need to look at both screens. Tarmac City here, which is, what it sounds like. Don't forget the cyber squid. Oh yes, that's in the bay. Don't worry, they're horrendous. Navy SEALs, bio-enhanced. Navy SEALs, good idea. One is cyber shark, one is cyber dolphin, and one is cyber clownfish. I thought you meant like he's like half seal. Sorry, looking at the chat occasionally just to see what everyone's going on about. And Egil with his tentacle emoticons as standard. So it mentions the St. Francis Tree Preserve, the landfill zone to the north, and it mentions the fact that Oakland, which as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm English and I live in the UK, and I've never actually been to San Francisco. Now, some people think that might be a disadvantage in building a setting in San Francisco. However, one of the things it talks about in the book is that it's been so long that lots of things have been trashed and pulled down and put back up, and obviously the society is quite different. The megacorps have taken over, the oceans have risen, everyone is crammed into this area, so all the manufacturing has to go on in there, food production has to go on in there, and all kinds of stuff. So it's quite a different place now. But what I do want to do is I want to take some of the things I've found out about San Francisco and use them as monikers, names, regions, areas. I'm also interested in the transport links in the city, the current existing ones, and a few other things. So I'm going to try and bring some of that all together. So what I should point out, sorry, I was talking about our Patreon earlier on. Not only am I giving the GM notes out, but I'm giving the maps out. So this map you can already get if you are an Adventurer Tier Plus patron. That's on there, as well as the first mission map, which I made on the Shadowrun Returns level editor. Now, I thought, well, look, this area is quite, mountainous, and that if the sea level rose, it wouldn't take out the whole of this, and you'd get a new shoreline, and people would kind of push back to that, that line. So Union City, which is a real thing, gets kind of Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm pointing at there either. Union City down here gets kind of truncated and squashed down into this area, and the Oakland Free Trade Zone. It's called the Free Trade Zone, but you don't want to hang out there because you'll just get shot because everyone's free to do whatever they want to do. And then Golden Bear territory. Golden Bear is one of the sports teams out of the Berkeley, University of California. And I just thought, some gang leader has found some old trophies or something from the Golden Bears, and has taken that name as their own, just trying to tie it into something in that area. And then you've got the Berkeley Barrier Hills. People don't really sort of go much beyond there because it's all irradiated and horrible. Cybershark can follow trail by smelling blood. Cyberdolphin can use a sonar, and the seal is just a fat bastard or something. Yeah. He's the comedy character. You've got to have that light relief. And then I thought, let's also put this landfill restricted zone. I figure that there are. They won't even use synths for that because it's delicate. It's not delicate word. That's the wrong word. Synths are too delicate in a way. They're too expensive. There are crappy robots working in the municipal landfill restricted zone, doing what they do in landfill restricted zones. You've still got the Golden Gate Bridge, although the water level is substantially higher, and the Oakland Bay Bridge was extended further onto the coastal highway, or they call it the highway, but there's now a new road that runs along the major settlements. That's a bit of a highway to hell. It's kind of like slightly lawless. If the year is 2185, that is 165 years in the future. That would be like it would be a disadvantage for a person from 1855 describing current day London to not being. Yeah. I mean, the difference is, the technology scale that's going on beyond today would be such that rebuilding areas, bringing them down and rebuilding them would be a lot easier. And different materials would be used. I live in a town where there's still a wall that was built 2,000 years ago, and we all crowd around it and look at it every now and then. St Albans is the Roman Verulamium, was the capital of England at one point. I mean, every town in England was the capital of England at some point. But there are things that are 1,000 years. The cathedral, 1,000 years old. Things go up around it and build around it. Not a lot else to do. That's true. Yeah, that is true. Ben knows St Albans well. There's a lot of pubs, and that's what I did. I spent a lot of time doing. So this was the map that I created, and what I've done, what I want to do is kind of delve into District 4 and 5 specifically, because I think that's where the first portion of our game will be taking place. I just want to show you as well. Let's turn let's turn off the Roll20 view for a moment. That's it in Inkscape. So I should probably be more proficient with Photoshop by now, but I've used Inkscape for sort of like 12 years before I got a pro license for Photoshop, because I didn't want to actually illegally use it. And Inkscape is free and it's very cool. Lots of options up the side here, and it's a scalable vector graphic editor. And the good thing about that is, ultimately, long term, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export these layers as SVGs, and I'm going to import them into a GIS, Geographic Information System. QGIS is probably the one I'll use because that also is free. And I think it's good if I can give you guys a view on some free tools, rather than saying, hey, sign up for this $50 a month subscription and you can do this map. This is a free tool. You can use this. I will be putting it into QGIS at some point, which is Quantum GIS, Geographic Information System, and that will allow me to attribute up all the polygons, parcels, points, and lines that I create to add different features and different numbers. So I could break each district into parcels and then start to add attributes to each of those that I could then represent graphically. Now, if you hadn't guessed, that's kind of what I do for a job. I used to. I now run a team that do that for a job. So spatial data and stuff is kind of my jam. And I'm doing a really bastardized version of it today, so it's going to look horrible and hacky, but this is more about what it looks like than any kind of structure or metadata or anything like that. All those kind of things I normally have to worry about. Little insight into me as well. There you go. So I make maps. I've been making maps. I did a geography degree specializing in GIS. And now I work for a large online grocery retailer looking after their vehicle scheduling system and doing territory management and all that kind of stuff. So this is definitely up my street. So this is Inkscape that I'm going to use, which I'll show you shortly. But what I also wanted to show you quickly was this is the Google Doc. Oh, it would help if I'm doing it over here as well. Here we go. So I've created this Google Doc, which I'm going to share with patrons, as I said, adventurer plus tier patrons. So if you're an adventurer, a seeker, or an explorer, then you will get access to this. And basically what I did was I created a list of, where's my mouse gone? There we go. Created a list of contacts for everybody. And they all knew this one contact called Okazaki, who runs a noodle bar on a crossroads between District 4 and 5. Basically what I've done is I've put in a little a kind of location or district, then a very short, a few words trying to reflect their character, and then sort of like a bit about them or what they do. And as you can see, I've got interesting different characters in there. I've got some corporate ones, some dodgy ones, AI, hackers. We've got a couple of enemies, one those taken from character backgrounds, so kind of just built that in so that people can see that. We've got a whole bunch of them down there, and they're from different gangs, they're from different places, but they're all District 4 or 5 for now. And I thought I wanted this beginning to be on that. Sorry, I also got my Off-World Colonies t-shirt from Last Exit to Nowhere on because I love Blade Runner. And if you're looking closely, you may notice that 90% of these names are the cast and crew of the Blade Runner movies. I tend to, people get stuck for names, and I just think, oh, let's think of a film that's close to it, if that's relevant, maybe not for a fantasy game, and let's pull those names out and just use a chunk of them. you know, and then you've got some appropriate names. And if people kind of catch on to it, then it adds a little bit extra, I think. Here we go. Yeah, so patrons will be getting their hands on this as well. And what I'm going to add in here is I have been writing up in my little notebook. I'm not sure if you can see that. Characters and gang names, and some points of interest that I'm going to include. Freeze frame these screens. I've ticked off a bunch of contacts and interesting people that are the contacts that have gone into those. So this is kind of my little dirty scrap notebook that I'm going to use to then populate into here. What I want to do as well for anyone who's playing Carbon 2185 is I want to make a few tables that represent the relationships between the gangs and the corporations. So the gangs, you know, will have a grid of enemy, neutral, possible ally. Because if you think, if they're using unrelated, let's put the Roll20 view back on because that's a bit nicer. If they're doing unrelated or adjacent businesses, then people may be up for working together. It's where people are doing the same business as gangs that they probably butt heads. So I'm going to try and build up a little chart like that. And then for the corporations, what I'm going to do for my own peace of mind is I'm going to create a table that says, you know, here's every corporation, here's what they do, here's their CEO, here's how relevant they are in San Francisco, because I don't think all of the ones listed will necessarily be big. Here we go. What have we got? Got a whole bunch. Detroit Industries, Dubai Space Company, Garcia Group, Houston Dynamics, Kasai Corporation, Khan Mezawa, Medi Strike Group, Nightingale Exploration, One Aerospace, Patkin Corporation, Paragon Star, Regierung Kybernetic, Saud Cybernetics, Schmidt Wagner, Shenzhen Solutions, The Crown Estate, Tusk Interplanetary, Vizier Robotics, and Zar Corporasi. Apologies for any bad accents or voices there. Ben's laughing because I said butt heads. I didn't say butt heads. I said butt heads. Anyway, and some of these are based out of the UAE, or you know, and I think they'll all have, you know, strong presence in the city. But I think there'll be some that will be, you know, all corporations' mission statement: exploit people to earn money. Yes. And I don't think any of the CEOs of these companies will be in San Francisco or even on this planet, because if you remember, there are the off-world colonies that the people have gone off to, and one of our characters, Dan's Nocturne, is a wormer from Aquarii 1E, which is one of those worlds, and it's interesting. You know what's going on out there. The companies are off trying to expand, like Paragon Star and all of these. So a new life awaits in the off-world colonies. Yes, yes. Cool. Okay, so I you know, I'm going to put in that grid who's their chief representative in the city. You know, and what position do they hold? And then, you know, what underhand, you know, a list of underhanded or dystopian practices. That might be dystopian practices. I'm going to write that down because that's really where it comes in. You know, you want to. They've got to be doing stuff that, because it's punk, isn't it? You're railing against the system, against the man. You're trying to bring it down. You're trying to destroy it. So there's got to be, you know, there's dark things that they're doing. Dystopian practices. Cool. Excellent. Okay. Yes. Okay, here we go. Just gonna. Okay, cool. Just checking I'm not getting buzzed. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look. Who have we got? Commander Root Ebaltus. V online. Please forever 1974. Spleenum. The Azaman. Tade. And World Builder 101. Hello, welcome. All of you. Cool. Let's see. Let's just go over here for a second. Just getting a few bits ready. Yeah, so what I'm going to do in a minute is I am going to bring up Inkscape and I'm going to start to I'm going to start to bring in some other things that I found online. So I went and found some municipal maps, the train lines, the Bay Area Rapid Transport BART, which I thought was made up until I Googled it and found out it was a real thing. And it goes over the Oakland Bay Bridge, as far as I can tell. And then I've got neighbourhoods from a what's the word? A real estate, public access real estate districts. How the real estate industry of San Francisco today names each area of the city, which I thought is a fun place to start. And we can kind of change it up and mix it around if something else, if there's a better idea. I'm just tweeting out. We are live right now with a and this. Hey, here we go. So let's have a look. Sorry about this, folks. Live stream and all. Just trying to get some of those folks over. Let's tag. There we go. Okay, cool. Right, let's get on with this. Here we go. Enough preamble, Peter. Let's turn that one off. I don't need the notes right now. Let's go into Inkscape. Right, okay. So this is a fairly simple program. You've got. Whoa, look! I've got removing all the water. There we go. And occasionally it does get annoying where you think you've clicked on a letter, and you go to drag and then I've accidentally dragged something. So I may curse occasionally, but it's it's fun. I think I just skipped some frames because I tweeted. Oh, thank you, Ben. You are a star. Let's get that over there and shut that down. Cool. Okay, so let's get these maps in I've been talking about. So this is my map that I've created that you can get over on my Patreon, and we've got this is quite cool because you can sort of be like, right, I want to zoom in, and I've got I've kind of got some of these zones are full ones, some of them are just lines that I've just not that. You see, this is where you just have to be a little bit careful with this program. I know in something like Photoshop I would be able to set up layers and then sort of have background and all that kind of stuff separate. What I can do in this is just group things together so that they stay. I've got a slightly better version of the thingy in the background there. So let's, oh, hello, zoomed right out. Here we go. Let's select that. Right, let's go in. I think I need it about there. That looks good. Okay, cool. So this is San Francisco. You can see the sea wall and all the districts there. Bit of features, you know, bit of mountain, hill, relief, parks. You know, got some parks in the area, and the only challenge here is I've got no clear screen to click off. There we go. Cool. Let's zoom out just ever so slightly. There we go. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to bring in a district map. Now this is probably going to be horrendous. If we embed that. There we go. So what you can see here is got a hold of this just off this guy's website. And what we're going to do, first thing we do is just chop it down so it's a little bit. Here we go. Clip those, clip. There we go. Okay, right, and then I'm gonna shrink it down a bit. I'm going to make it transparent, and then I'm going to try and get it to match up. What you can see is this kind of covers the northern section of the city, and I think he's got it on a slight rotation. That managed to work pretty well, didn't it? So I've got this here. Let's make it a bit more. And you can see we've got Russian Hill, a marina, Cow Hollow, Pacific Heights. These already sound like great names to be using in the game. You know, so this is what I wanted from this kind of thing. Mission Bay, you know, and maybe we can chop some of them up and use some different names and things. If we take this down a few levels, we can bring in our lines. We can see where District 5 sits, and this kind of goes into District 3 then, doesn't it? And then we've got Lakeshore over there, probably as far as it goes into District 2. That might be just a little bit like, yeah, like that. But that does go there. What I would do if I had an image like this normally, I would put it into the GIS and then geo-reference it by selecting locations on both images, and then you can match them together easier. But what I think I'm going to do is bring this back up to the top. There we go. Sorry about that pop. That was probably really loud in your ears. And I'm going to zoom in on this area here. I'm going to close that off for now. Okay. And I think we're going to start making some shapes. So what I'm thinking of is just, you know, I'm gonna, as I said earlier on, you kind of, you know, there is I'm a bit of a sucker for like filling little maps and things. As some of you will know, I like drawing maps by hand, and as I said earlier on, I am involved professionally with spatial data and map making, not from a like a production point of view, but from an analytical point of view. You know, need some heat maps and drive times and all that kind of stuff. Get me a road network and I'll help sort you out. So here we go. I'm just sectioning off this as we see here, and some of it I'm going to cheat and only do the leading edge, as it were. While I'm doing this, a couple of cool things going on the channel this week. Tuesday, we have got Ben running Path of the Pilgrim, which is a Pathfinder 2E campaign set in his own homebrew world of the Ashkar Desert. Some cool mix up, with different gods, and there is he has eschewed the stat boosts of bioessentialism, as he likes to tell me, and has gone for quite a free-form character build, which he's used the game mastery guide for, and that has sort of presented some really cool options. And the first episode of that is already on the channel. It's on YouTube and here on Twitch, and you can go and check it out. Sorry, I'm not sure if you're hearing. No, you're not hearing that good. Then on Wednesday, just getting little notifications from the Inkplot. The Inkplot are doing a D&D 5e Kickstarter for the Exalted Vales. It's a campaign setting which can fit into other campaigns, it seems, and is a much more mystical spin on D&D 5th edition. We are doing a one-shot. I'm hopefully playing. We are yet to figure all of the details out, but we will have 4 or 5 players. Ben is going to be running that one. Thank you, Ben. And that will be a one-shot adventure with the crew. I believe Adrian from Heavyweight Games will also be joining us. He joined us once already for a Carbon 2185 one-shot, which kind of spurred everyone into sort of enjoying it again. I mean, we did a one-shot Christmas. And, oh yeah, giveaways. Oh, I'll talk about that in a minute, Ben. Yeah, good shout. And he's coming back. So, and Simon and a couple of others. Hopefully Sam will be on it. Yeah, so that's going on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have Carbon 2185 with Chrome Dystopia, which I'm really looking forward to. And as you can see, I'm expanding on the world. I've got lots of ideas, got lots of stuff. I'm just trying to put it all together in some presentable formats that we can share with you guys on the stream to enhance the experience for you. And also, I just love making maps. Can't help it. Little polygons. Here we go. Modern maps. And it doesn't matter if you get the odd crooked edge. I'll just, here we go, because it's a vector editor. And what I'll do is I'll select all of these and group them all together, and then we'll have a nice little, we can color code them and all kinds of stuff. And I might adjust them in a minute so that they match up to the district boundaries, almost as if they've been sort of forcibly changed through the effect of scum. So Ben just mentioned in the chat giveaways Very good of you, Ben. Thank you. On Tuesday, we are giving away a Pathfinder 2 Games Master screen. And Tuesday's tomorrow. I keep forgetting this. Look, you're going to have stuff on the channel 4 days of the week. This is awesome. All you have to do is join Ben and team in the stream. Go onto Twitch and type hashtag give me the screen. And one of our lovely social media experts, me, will be in touch with you, in touch with one person. Ben is going to do a draw, and I'm going to leave it up to him how he wants to do that draw live on air at some random time during the episode. That's tactical. And here we go. Okay, lovely. Yeah. So that is Tuesday's giveaway. On Wednesday, with the Exalted Veils giveaway, we are giving away 5 pledge upgrades. So you can upgrade your pledge from a Traveller Longstrider to the next tier up, where you get a physical book. So it's the difference between PDF copy and physical book. How's that? Lone Mountain. That sounds cool. I like the sound of that area. Inner Richmond, Jordan. You know, a lot of these I have no idea what they are. And anyone from San Francisco will have some pretty solid preconceived notions, or, you know, rightly or wrongly, about what each of these regions is like. However, as we pointed out, it's 200 years in the future, 165 years, sorry, Eggle. I would love to go back to I mean, I was quite young, but I wouldn't mind being in the 80s. So 165 years in the future, and things are very different. This Presidio, this whole park here, this is gone. This is just trash swamp, which I'm going to mark on there shortly. Sea Cliff, yeah, there won't be any nice views from there anymore. All you'll be able to see is the briny sweat on the seawall, protecting you from death by toxic chemicals. It's a lovely cheery setting, this one, which is why we've gone for it. I'm trying to figure a bit of fun going on here between text over the top of similarly coloured polygons, but to be fair, I'm making it all up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just using this as a guide to help me to build up districts. You know, I could have started anywhere, but I would be tempted to just like grid it. And although, you know, most of the city has grid streets, this gives me the false impression that I'm doing some kind of really cool research into San Francisco and understanding it a bit. Do you know what I mean? It kind of gives me, you know, and I've made this from a real map where I may chop some of the areas down, you know, put in another section, you know, or the Golden Gate Park is probably not going to be all park as nicely as it was. Let's go here. You know, so there's a stream. It's got a cool little twister-rooney grapples, so I can just put a little curve in it like that, which is quite funky. And as I said earlier on, this is Twin Peaks, yes. Now, the thing is, if I put that in, someone's going to think I've named it after the TV show. But there's actually a place called Twin Peaks, which is cool, and it's going to feature. But I think there might be in oh no, it's District 4. Here we go. Getting some interesting shapes here. Here we go. Getting a virus software thing pop up. Hello, McNeil's5. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Excellent. We've got several people watching now. That's very cool. We're just in the middle of marking out neighborhoods and regions within San Francisco based on current real estate regions, but to change up a bit and to create my own feel and zones within the city. Oh, look at this. I didn't finish that one. This is quite easy to do. You just go. I should zoom in there really, but for our show Chrome Dystopia, which is Carbon 21 at 85, D&D 5e Cyberpunk game from Dragon Turtle Games by Robert Mariner Dodds. Very nice chap. We have a signed copy, which is nice. And this is the core rulebook. You can get other things such as GM screens, campaigns as the interlinked campaign that's been released, and a few other adventures, as well as a load of D&D 5e stuff over on Dragon Turtle Games. And if you do go over there and pick anything up, don't forget to use discount code GARBLAG in the checkout to get 10% off of your purchases. So that is cool. Excellent. Here we go. I'm going to roughen this, straighten some of these bits up, because ultimately this doesn't have to be perfect. It is indicative of the regions. Now I'm going to chop the Golden Gate Park in half like that. Where that river was, let's come down here. And then over here. Yep, let's go over here. Forest Hill. No real trees on there anymore. They all died out 60 years ago. The last tree was kept in a preservation tank by one of the corporation CEOs and removed from the area for fears of vandalism. Here we go. I don't know. Now I'm just making stuff up as we go along, which is kind of my GM thing in a nutshell. Now I tell you what, doing the channel has been really good because it's meant that I've put a lot more prep into my games. When we were role playing at the club, don't get me wrong, I loved it, and I haven't been there in years, which is a shame because it takes up all my time now. That and 2 young boys. Hence yesterday not being able to do the stream. But having to visualize things a bit more cleanly and, dare I say it, professionally for viewers is a different experience, one that Ben can probably empathize with. Let's bring that round there just so we've got that, just in case that's I love this little bit here. You can just go kind of morph it a bit to your liking. Okay, cool. So we're getting somewhere. Now what I might have to do is just combine a lot of these together so that they are all let's have a look. You know what I might do? I might grab everything that's in San Francisco and scooch it over somewhere else, just to be. Let's go down here. Okay, that is. Do this thing where it picks up like phantom stuff. I put in cheats and white text and all that kind of stuff, so it comes up. And then we can go zoom in again. This is where it all gets a little bit hacky. I'll tell you what, I'll just finish off before we go. Here we go, Sherwood Forest, nice. Oh, St. Francis Wood, there you go, it's actually named there. Obviously it's been moved to the south. Interesting what you see when you actually compare the real world to, you know, the story that Robert's done. Clearly, he's found some names and areas inside San Francisco that he liked the sound of as well. Here we go. Let's bring this down here. Ingleside Heights. Ocean view. Good luck with your... Oh, no. Good luck with your ocean view. Here we go. Here we go. It goes in there. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to bother with all of these little bits in here. That's going to go like that. Yeah, because at some point as well, people have got to be able to read it, you know? So often one of the challenges in the professional environment when creating maps is the visualization, getting across the point to people simply and clearly, using the right color palette, using the right iconography for your, or symbology, I should say, for what you're showing. So I think here we also have a situation where we don't want it to be too difficult for people to tell what is going on. Let's put another curve in there, because I like that sunny side. Okay, and you can go here. This dude can go here. Oh, hello. There you go. I'm guessing there's some sort of road. Yep, there you go. Can't see it. That's a really nicely done. See exactly what I meant. That map that I've taken off the internet. No wonder it's free, because it's not very good. And it's covered up the interstate. I don't know what the badge is. Sorry, I'm not familiar with the United States Highway Code. But you can see that there. It's covered it up with the line, so you can't even see what that road is called. No, hopefully someone will be able to clue me in, but we shall see. I think we've had a few more people join us. Let's have a look. Yeah, Gore Cannon, Farsan. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully this is of some interest to you guys, and you can see a bit of my process and how I like to do things. Let's have a look. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this line. You can see that line under there. Oh, whoops. Undo that. That line under there is our District 5 line. And in fact, if you look at it, Bayview doesn't go to there, it goes to there. So move your handles, come on. Get your handles sorted out. And then we can join one onto the end of here. We can go up to the edge of District 5. There, and then this is going to be, and this. Right, so that takes us to the edge of District 5. And we've come into District 3. District 2 ends about there. So that's good. Let's have a look. Okay. This is where some layer control would be really useful right now, because this is about to be horrible. Let's see if we can't. Let's remove that. Haha, there we go. Right. Let's get rid of that one. That one. That one. Let's get rid of the seawall. And let's select all of those and make them one thing. There we go. Right, so we've got a bit of a weird looking sections. What I need to actually do then is I've got them all sitting on here as well. So I can hopefully line this up and tidy it up later. And what we can do is we can go object, hopefully with all of these. Oh no, not fill, stroke. Ah, look, that's good to know. That underneath, I picked up all the words. So I don't want that. Don't want that. And I don't want that. Okay. Let's just have you chaps. Group. There we go. Stroke paint. And now we can make all of them the same color. And it can go. Let's remove this. Actually, let's go around removing these first. See what I mean? This is my cobbled together hacky way, but it's fun. No doubt someone is commenting. That's Inkscape, isn't it? It is Inkscape. I'm using Inkscape because it's free. As I said earlier on, I didn't want to sort of come on and go, hey, here's my $50 a month Photoshop license. Also, I'm a bit more familiar with Inkscape just to do things quick and dirty like this. I'm not trying to build a professional, not yet, maybe later. I will try and export it into a GIS though to maybe tidy it up a bit more professionally. So I'm just getting rid of those bits. Here we go. That. Because what I do want to do is, oh, let's not do that. I can see these a bit better against this. Let's move this book out of the way. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm using Inkscape. I love it. It's free. It's great. It's done. I do all my I've done everything graphical for the channel so far, apart from a few trailers, which I've done in After Effects, such as our alien shows. There we go. Okay, that got rid of that. Now, what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm actually going to save this as so what I want to do is I want to create a close-up map so that we can have a bit more of just San Francisco on the screens, District 4 and 5, when we do the next session of Chrome Dystopia. Okay, so I've now saved that as that. That's great. What I can do is I'm going to remove. Excuse me. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to put these outside. What size did I make that? Let's make it an 11, just so it's an approved size. Let's make that 11. Make that 11. Oh, Golden Gate Bridge. There we go. That's a bit better. Golden Gate Bridge up there. District 4 outside there. And then what I may do is leave the District 3 and 2 as they are to kind of emphasize the fact that they're not really getting anywhere near those at the moment. Then what I'm going to do is, because I don't need a lot of this other stuff for this map, I'm going to join all the backgrounds together. Cool. And it will then go to the bottom. Yes, brilliant. Okay. Oakland Bay Bridge, you are also going to shrink down to 11. Bosh. Oh dear. Undo. In fact, no, I wanted to sit under that. That's fine. You and you. You. No. Leave us yes to her. What I have is an invisible polygon over the top, which I then will do reduce down to be the selection area for the actual stamp that I'll take of the map. So what I want to do is I want to create something that's a bit like this. Maybe just a touch. There we go. So that, yeah. So the view is something similar to this, I think, to go into our game. Let's just delete that, lift that one. You see, that's the problem with this slight clipping issue. So, St. Francis Tree Reserve. We shall. In fact, you know what? No, yeah, let's put it down there. Yeah, out of the way. Seawall. Bring this over here so we can see the seawall. I think we need to drop that down again. There we go. Yep. And then what we'll do is we'll find our invisible dude in whatsits, and we'll bring this in to here. Ah! Why did it do that? You see I use lots of technical terminology like doody whatsits and thingamajig all of the time, and I apologize for my terrible command of the English language. No, it's not that bad. Right, so we're going to go there. What I actually want to do is chop off some of this stuff that is in District 3 because I feel that I want to do that separately. So let's just wholesale remove some of this stuff, and I'll repair any holes in a moment. Okay, let's just bring that there, that there. You can go, I want it to sit under this orange line. You see, this will make sense shortly. There we go. Yep, that will go there. That will go there. Okay. Oh no, actually, I think that will just come all the way across to there. It's cool. This is where I'm now changing the geography of San Francisco, which is the fun bit for a geography geek like me. Okay, so that's cool. You know what? I'm going to change the boundary of District 5. I think it can be a rough line. this is where I get into uncharted territory. So I'm just going to adjust it because I think in this dystopian far future, it'll probably be a bit more like you are now entering District 5. I know some areas will be, oh, is it District 5? Is it not? But some people will be fighting hard for their zone to be, you know, included or not. Let's pop that there because I need to just sneak in another one. There we go. Yep, there we go. So I'm just adjusting the district there so it matches to the neighbourhoods a bit better. And this here doesn't work, does it? This here doesn't work. Let's go like this. No, that's horrible. This is a district map, not some sort of river system. There we go. That's going to sit like that. That's going to be the only kind of shaky area. I know people may argue, oh, you might have things one side or the other, and it's like, yeah, you could. I'm all right with it just being, you know, all or nothing. I like the idea of these districts being quite discrete areas, you know, and it's like people know that beyond this road is District 5. Don't cross over there because the cops won't pass Presidio and Fifth or whatever. You know, we'll figure out road names and all that stuff still to come. So this bad boy and this bad boy. Okay, they pop to the top, and then we take the sea wall, pop that to the top, and now we're getting somewhere. So we have quite quickly built up a view of some of the neighbourhoods of District 4 and 5 of San Francisco in Carbon 2185. Maybe I should zoom that in so you guys can see that a bit better on my screen. No, I won't mess with it now. So here we go. Right. So this is looking quite good. I like this. Let's get, what's that one back there? Oh, it's thinking about it. I'm punishing it. Let's hide that line. There we go. We don't need that line. Okay. So I think there's some fairly large areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit a few things to hang on. Okay, I think that's a better fit for the aerial photography. Let's just reposition a few things. That's cool. Yeah. Even better. Okay. That is good. So we've got all these areas. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to section some of this off so that it doesn't look quite as cool as some areas. Now I want these lines to be white. There we go. So this is going to be more zones. And you know what? This is where a little bit of crud. You can see this. Our aerial photography provider have got nothing really to worry about with my use of their aerial photography here because it doesn't actually show anything apart from some odd colors. So I'm going to use some of that to let's go down here Oh, this looks like a divide here. Why is it doing that? That's really annoying. Okay. Chop some of these up a bit more, as you can see. And the shapes don't really have to have rhyme or reason, it seems, because in San Francisco it's all a bit. There we go. Just lower it down so it's not above the orange lines, although I will push the orange lines back up to the top. I think these ones over here are particularly large. Now this is District 4, so I'm actually going to grid it a bit more, because I think, if anywhere, District 4 is the most likely to be a horrible, soulless grid of blocks of, and at this point, I'm just thinking about, oh, what am I doing? That's bad. Delete that one. Let's go, try and go across this line here. Make some attempts to match up to the aerial photography for no real reason other than I just think it looks a bit cool if it does. Oh, look, see, that's actually a previous box. Oh, and now I like that. I like that, just that slightly off sync. Oh. That's cool. And these would be straighter like that because we've got a semblance of a grid structure beneath it. And then I'm gonna, what else can we do? Let's have a look. I think that looks like that should be. This looks crazy for a moment. I'm gonna zoom right out. And this is gonna get just. It's probably gonna screw up all my things, but let's have a look. No, I think it looks good. Okay. So, this area here is still quite large, and this area is quite large. I think I'll put a bifurcating line down here, and this is going to be some. This is going to be the. I mean, the nearer the wall is going to be the crappier the area, and you know, because shit rolls downhill, and the wall sweats. No one really wants to live in that close proximity to it. And it's pretty gross. Let's put that there, that there. Okay, and then let's go here, here. I know I didn't do that last one to white, so let's go back and do that. Okay. And the cool thing about this is it's scalable vector graphics. So, you know, if you zoom in, it's the details retained. So let's, no, not that one. Bop. Cool. That's cool. And then let's have another line over. See, that looks like some sort of road through there. But I'm going to do one in the middle here. And actually, hang on. Did I? Oh, whoopsie daisy. Let's forget to just do little pips. Let's get this, and that's actually going to go along a road line and not all the way. Okay, and then same again here. We're going to have a a zone of, try and follow the road, what looks like a road line under there. There we go. Cool. Okay. Okay, I like that. I think that's a bit more. That's a bit more District 4. That zone now. These ones at the back here, actually, I think we'll keep them. Maybe just a slight division, because I think they're going to be like super cruddy, because they're so far away from District 1 and so close to the sea wall that, you know, the place just is going to stink. It's going to be leaning tenements squashing on top of each other, and it's just not going to be that great a zone. Cool. So that's cool. Yeah, I think that works. Like a, you know, there's going to be something going on with the park, I think, actually. Let's go here, because there's like a scientific center here. It's like the Eden Project in England. This place is like a huge biodome type. Not biodome. That's the wrong term for it. It's okay. Let's have a look. Sorry, just had a message flash up in my face on the screen. Now there was a site I went to which had, here we go. You know, the internet is your friend for these kinds of things. Yeah, Alcatraz. That's one thing I hadn't thought about. Palace of Fine Arts. The California Academy of Sciences, which is in this area here. So I think I'm going to have like a little sub section randomly at an odd angle, just like that. And that's going to be, it's like this huge, broad, flat building with a green roof with domes on it. And you can go in and you can experience like, you could journey through our universe in an awe-inspiring movie produced by NASA as well. So there's all kinds of stuff going there. Narrated by Whoopi Goldberg. Wow. Guinan, to me, she will always be known as Guinan. Showing you my allegiance there. I think this is going to be up here. This is going to be the Presidio trash swamp now, just for shits and giggles, really. Yeah, so that's cool. I've chopped that up. I've got some regions. I'm wondering if this District 5, whether, I don't know what people think. Here's a thought. Do people think that District 5 would be sprawling areas that people wouldn't go in, or do you think we'd have a bit of vertical going on, where there are old, dilapidated skyscrapers and structures that are now, you know, the province of these gangs? Should I chop it up a bit more? They're fairly large areas. And District 4, I've got District 4. I see in my mind as being more vertical, because it's kind of like big high-rise buildings and factories and things, lots of different levels, and, you know, people's cubicles, people's little homes, you know, sort of different levels, highway like roads between the buildings up at different levels. So you've got sort of darker areas underneath, which again you'd have in District 5. It's just all of that stuff would be kind of a bit of a mess and a bit of a sprawl. So I think maybe a sprawl over this area. Let's see. I think these two are too big though. really, and we should do something about that. With a couple of sub-regions. Yeah, that looks good. And I don't know what this orangey thing is here. Here we go. Vertical, but down from street level if it's more run down. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? That, yeah, so I'm breaking it up a little bit, but I want to do some slightly over in District 4. I've done it very regimented, very, apart from this area here, which is old school regions of District 4, probably maybe a bit more entertainment based. Whereas over here, it's all the living space of all the masses. I'm going to have half the parks being built over as well. It's valuable space. Let's have. Oh, I've got this imaginary curve in my head for some reason there. Can anyone else see that curve? I'm going to show you this curve. There. I think a curve's quite nice. There's some sort of road that might go there. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Looks good. Let's get a little region over here. We've got something that looks like industrial. That'll do. Yep. And that's just a sprawl before District 3. Okay. Cool. What's that? I think you are overloading your poor computer with all these graphic things. Your video is just a series of still images over here. Yeah, I'm getting the same. Thought it was me as I'm on the iPad in the garden. Oh, hang on. Yeah, skipped frames detected. 99% over the last 2 minutes. Okay. Audio's coming through clear as a bell, though. Okay, so that's good. Right. So maybe this is. Hang on. Maybe this is a good moment for a brief pause while I go and refresh my drink, and everyone hangs still for 5 minutes, if that's okay. Stay with me. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you everyone for joining us. We've got more people joining, which is great. Might give my poor computer an opportunity to catch up. I am at the end of the garden streaming these things. Also, I think it doesn't help that I've got Facebook open and people keep messaging me. So that's probably interfering with it. So what I'll do is I'm going to take a brief nature break. I'll come back. We'll carry on with the stream. Hopefully it will have figured itself out by then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the sound off, but hopefully you guys out there, you lovely peeps, can see the work so far on District 4 and 5. And I think what I'll do is I'll leave it on that rather than the holding screen. So if anyone comes along, just say Pete will be back shortly, and that this is the work done so far on the map. I think it's coming along nicely though, and I really want to be able to say, oh, your contact is in so and so region, and that contact's in that region. You've got to go across the city to get to them, and very soon the next thing I want to do is put the major transfer. I mean, there's going to be, let's be clear, there's going to be lots of road network. You're going to be able to drive pretty much everywhere, but it'll be slow. There will be, mass transit thoroughfares, big highways, that kind of thing. That's the thing I want to get on here. So we're gonna go into that in a bit and do that. So I will pop off for 5 minutes. Hello, hello. I'm back. Sorry about that. A little bit longer than I anticipated. Just had to help the family get out of the house. And they're going for a walk to let Daddy sit in the shed in the in the sunshine, streaming online. Cool. Okay, what have we got going on in the chat? Let's have a look. Go back up a bit. Here we go. Gonna need to get me a motorbike. Redeemed. Highlight my message. Anything I can answer or help with in the meantime. I was over on Roll20 prepping for Exalted Vales on Wednesday. Tried to make interesting but unusual characters for the one-shot. So I have a halfling sorcerer with draconic ancestry. Barbarian whose rage is more like a cold psychosis. Nice. I like the odd bit of trope subversion, says McNeil5. Yep, got to be done. With D&D, you either have to subvert or really lean in. Absolutely, Ben. You got to go full on stereotype or completely switch it up. Get those stereotypes smashed. Dragon halflings. Halflings. A lot of chat about halflings. Dark Sun, yes. Awesome game. One of the best settings. That and Planescape, my two personal favourites, because they're just so different from the there you go, Ben. So different from the stereotype. Let's have a look. Back to Kickstarter recently about combining ancestries. Really good. Probably available on drive-through under Ancestries and Heritage. I was never that familiar with Dark Sun, Planescape, and Birthright were my AD&D settings of choice. McNeil's Planescape is just one of my favourite things. I've got a load of the print-on-demand books from Drive-Through RPG, and they are great, really good, very useful. Used to homebrewed worlds. Yeah, you and me both, Ben, and we do that as well. So over time to a degree. Okay. Always available for consultation and design ideas. Absolutely. Okay, so we still have a bunch of people with us. Thank you for staying with us. So we are doing a bit of world building for Chrome Dystopia, our Carbon 2185 show. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and eat the odd chocolate without you guys getting horrible noises down the microphone. So we'll see how this goes. Family go out and the bandwidth issues seem to magically disappear. Well, you know, my wife is just watching Critical Role, so she does that all the time. You know, just like, hey, look at how good this is. Just to wind me up, I think. No, she's. I think she was streaming something, maybe. Also, I think when the processor gets a bit busy with all the graphics, it just. I was just doing an incarnate session, one of these world building sessions, and that just slowed down massively. And I thought it was the bandwidth, but it was actually my processor having trouble. One of our viewers kindly clued me in on what I was putting my machine through. So lots of fun. So yes, and don't forget that Dragon Turtle Games are sponsoring our Carbon 2185 efforts. So you can get 10% off your basket on Dragon Turtle Games website if you enter the discount code GARBLAG, all lowercase. That'll get you 10% off anything from there. And that is, you know, that could be I don't know why I'm holding this book up. There's a picture of it just below me. The core rulebook, the awesome core rulebook just below. Or the interlinked campaign, or all kinds of stuff going on, including 5th edition D&D stuff, Dragon Drop, adventures, and all those kinds of things. So go and check that out. I think you should also go and join the Carbon 2185 Facebook pages and the Reddit, because Robert dropped some news that some maps for Chow's request, is it? Chow's I've got it here. What am I talking about? Here we go. Chow's request, part 2, part 2. There are locations in it that don't have maps. Part 1 had a map. I think they were pushed for time, and they were trying to get. So part 1 of the adventure in the book has got this map, which is made on Dungeon Fog, which is pretty cool. And part 2 didn't have a map, and they've produced some maps for it now, so you can go and get those as well. So that's cool. Our patrons our adventurer tier plus patrons will all be getting all of this stuff that I'm producing for free. We've already given out the kind of wider view map of San Francisco Bay Area that I've created out of my. It's not an official Carbon 2185 product. It's my interpretation of it. So this is my San Francisco, my 2185, as it were. My shoe's falling apart. Look at that. And those who do support us through the Patreon are awesome folks. Thank you very much to everyone who does. We've just hit our 50th patron. A few people found these maps useful and decided to join the gang. So that's really cool. I share all the maps I create for our games on Roll20. So that includes Pathfinder maps. I share settings, adventures, all kinds of stuff on there. So if you go on there now, there'll be dozens of posts with useful things for fantasy adventures mostly, but now obviously branching out into the cyberpunk world, which I'm very much enjoying. And if you are new here today, I see there's a lollygaggers there. Hello. Lurks. Another TV viewer. Excellent. If you are there, say hello. Yeah, we've got loads of stuff going on the channel now. We're streaming 4 days this week. Monday, I'm doing this. Obviously, that's today. Tuesday, we've got Pathfinder 2nd edition, which is Ben's game, World Builder 101, in the chat right now. That is his own setting. The Ashkar Desert, that's the one. Path of the Pilgrim is the show. That's had one session so far, which was a session 0 to go through characters, lines and veils, all the usual things that you do in a session 0, but laid bare for our viewers. And session 1, episode 1, is on Tuesday. And in that stream, you have the opportunity to win a Pathfinder 2nd edition GM screen. All you need to do is join the chat, and at some point, hey lollygaggers, at some point, oh, by the way, people, after this stream, go and check out the lollygaggers. They do some cool stuff. They've done some Zweihander shows. I think they've just finished one, and they're just starting another one. Correct me if I'm wrong, the lollygaggers. But yeah, they're a good bunch. Yes, so all you need to do is go onto the stream tomorrow night with Ben and the team, and at some point Ben will say, right, you can now know hashtag give me the screen, or show me the screen, or I want that screen, or something to that effect when Ben says, and then we'll send a whisper to the winner. One of the team will pick the winner, and we will I'm leaving that up to Ben. Ben can figure that out for tomorrow. There you go, World Builder. Wednesday. Wednesday, he's waving. Wednesday, we've got our special Exalted Veils one-shot Kickstarter special. They're in Kickstarter right now. They got funded in 3 days. It's a D&D 5e mystical setting that, as far as I can tell, is kind of a sub-campaign setting that you can kind of slot into other worlds, or it can be the bridge between worlds. It's a mystical continent. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of got this kind of enigma, detective, investigation-y kind of emphasis to it, which is pretty cool. And some different classes, or backgrounds, and the races or species. I'm not sure how their terminology works. Ancestries are slightly different again. So that's already funded, and we're giving out 5 vouchers I've just been sent an update by the Inkplot, who are the folks who produce the here we go, where are we? Who produce the game. There will be 5 winners. So we want email addresses from 5 winners from a whisper. We'll be able to upgrade from either a Journeyer to a Journeyer Herald of the Sphere, which is, you get about a 30% discount on what's going on here. You upgrade on your, and that's around physical books. And then Traveller to Traveller Longstrider, which means a free pack of maps is added on to your pledge. So some really cool stuff that you can get on Wednesday here on Garblag Games. And then Thursday, boring old Thursday, no giveaways on Thursday, I'm afraid. Just another chance to hear the wonderful discount code we have for Chrome Dystopia, Carbon 2185, because it is episode 2 of Chrome Dystopia, which I'm really looking forward to. The team are really getting into their characters. We're giving away all of this stuff to our patrons, and also on our Discord, we have a patron, a special channel for the cast of the show to talk about the characters in the background, and our patrons get to eavesdrop. They don't get to comment, they get to emote on things, and they get to see the players discuss their characters and the world, etc., and myself in there as well. So that's a little extra for some of our patrons that we're giving out there. So that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, I've been working on this map, the Power of Grayskull. Yes. Sorry, I've just got I also have a cup of tea here, so bear with me one. Oh, she gave me Earl Grey. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so now we had. Let's whiz this map around a bit, see how well the stream handles it. I think that's cool. 6 minutes ago. Okay, so this is our zone. What I want to do is I want to chop it down because it's pretty big for what I need for this. And what I'm going to do is something like, okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to do that. Yeah, and I'm going to get the Oakland Free Trading Zone in there. So that is, tell you what, let's just get, this is where it starts to creep. You're like, oh, I want to chop it down. Oh no, I just add that bit in, and I'll just add that bit in. So let's see if I can hopefully not destroy all of my work so far. In fact, to that end, I shall save the file. Regularly save and create that object. Align. Let's get that up. Okay, cool. So should have a, let's go. Let's see if this works. Ah, wicked. Cool. And now what I can do is I can get rid of some of these bits that aren't, oh, no, not that. Oh, that'll do, actually. Berkeley Barrier Hills, you can come in and be slightly larger text than, that's quite small. That'll do. Oh. And I will just remove that. Move that. This map is not about the wider area. This map is about the city. Okay, with and I just want it to look nice on the screen, and landscape is more the regular shape that we have on our overlays. So we will deal with that. So this is now our map so far. So as you can see, we've done some work on District 4 and 5. Guys, let me know if the stream is keeping up with the graphics here. I've turned off everything else in the background so that we're just focused on Inkscape and the stream. So that hopefully you guys can see as much as possible. I was told that it was just frames for a couple of minutes. Hopefully this is solving that problem. I think some of the guys were chatting about one of the other shows on Facebook, and it kept popping up on my computer, and I think the bandwidth was getting chewed up as well, and the processor. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so that is the broader view, and then we're going to zoom in to here, as I said before, and again, nice scalable vector graphic stuff, keeps everything nice and clean. You don't have to resize lines and things, which is very handy. So I can just put some text in that's very clear to read at this scale and zoom out, and it's not as visible. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look. How are we doing? Oh, we've got some more people joining us. Welcome, everybody. Okay, let's have a look. Please vote. What does Garblag stand for? Garblag stands for freedom and the Orcish way. No, Garblag is an interchangeable word that a friend and I made up. We always found it funny that in sci-fi shows, people always say things like, God, I haven't seen one of those since I was on Garblag 4. Or, I'll have a Garblagian ale, please. It's that word, it's that thing. It could be the vile Garblagites, they're coming in from the west and we shall defeat them. Anyway, story carries on in a completely different direction and the Garblagites are never seen. Garblag is that thing, is that word. Total domination of the social media role-playing world. I mean, Ben, that's supposed to be the secret. Stream seems good at the minute. Excellent. Thank you, McNeils5. Cool. Okay, so we've got all of these areas. I am just going to have to open up one of those maps again to there we go. You can't see what I'm doing right now. Maps. Right. Now, there are cable cars, big cable car, not huge, but a cable car network in San Francisco that looks like it's going to be predominantly in District 5, but I'm going to dump this map into here now. Let's see. The nice people at the cable car tours website have a little map of where your cable car thing goes. So that line is there. So it looks like it's kind of in this Washington Mason, Powell Market, California Street. I'm getting the feeling that this grey line up here is this white line. Oh, whoopsie daisy! I just changed. Looks like Texas or something. Do people agree with me that this grey line looks like it's this area here? Because I think this is quite a. Although that's Presidio, isn't it? I'm off to play some RuneQuest. Bye for now. Okay, I'll have fun playing RuneQuest. Tell us how it goes on the Discord. That game looks really funky. I've just never had anyone who's wanted to play it. Cool. Thanks for joining us, Egil. Right, let's see. Still a bunch of people with us. That's good. Okay, so I think that the main takeaway turnarounds and terminals is this line here, and it's 101. The 101. I think that's this bit here. Is this bit here? think the 101 runs down there. And let's see, I'll bring the other map in that we used to see if we can't figure out. Whoa, hello. So why don't we get these two maps down here and do a little bit of faux geo referencing. Okay. Aha! I've seen something. Here we go. Object. Fill and stroke. This is there. And this is too big. So that is literally under that area there. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks good. So that means that ferry building is over here. Yeah. So this is like this corner of the let's make that slightly transparent. Here we go. And zoom in a bit. Because the cable cars are quite a historic thing of San Francisco, you know, pulling everyone up those steep roads that you see in all those films. And it's something that I wanted to have in, you know, even if it's just in some small part, a little nod to. I mean, it's spoken about in the book as well. So let's have a look. Where's that line? Is there? And again, this doesn't have to be exactly precise, because you know we're talking about a fictitious thing. Let's bring our other map up just to be alongside. Oh, hello. Got rid of him too well there. Let's zoom out a bit. Oh, come on, clumsy fingers. Right, let's get this shrunk down to roughly. Yeah, the clipping thing's a bit annoying sometimes because it's useful and it's annoying. Okay. So he's actually. Let's have a look. So these two. If I come in here, what I'm looking at is this curly bay feature here. Is this curly bay feature here? So this polygon here, this green one, which is this one here, is that bit there. So that sits there like that, and the ferry building sits under the Oakland Bay Bridge bit, or maybe just a little bit. Oh, actually, I think it's like that. South of Market. Yep, that's Market. Yes. Okay. So that line, that straight line, was Market Street. There we go. Figuring out the geography of a town from weird map sources. So as I thought, that grey line is that white line. That curve goes there, and this zone is the edge of the 101. There, between those. Okay, and where does it go from there? Okay, cool. Right, so what that means is we have a series of small I'm not going to bother doing the I'm just going to do the main sections of it. And again, I cheat. It's not, you don't need to draw the whole thing. Now this is not going to be like something that clearly they can use. I mean, they could use it to get around District 5. But it's not something that's going to be that much use to them beyond District 5, which is fine. It just adds a bit of flavour, adds a little bit of stuff to the world, and I'm going to give it a purpley colour because it feels like a prestigious historical thing that requires, yeah, maybe. Let's see if we can get a colour that stands out against the. That's probably a bit better. And let's go. There we go. Let's rounded edges to try and represent something more of a transport network than a geographic boundary. Although obviously transport networks form geographic boundaries. But that looks a little bit softer around the edges and is the cable car network in the northeast section of District 5. Now the question is, do I want to then, that's what it is now, do I want to say that they would have done, expanded it perhaps, to try and give, let's have a look. We've got in the world details section, let's have a look. Gangs, the Golden City, District 5, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, the brands. I need to start chucking the brands in as well because that's quite cool. Can't remember where I saw the bit about the BART and Bayer Rapid Transport. Apologies if you can hear that motorbike going past the house. Someone's on our little quiet residential street decided to rev their engine very loud. Okay, well, I'll worry about that later. So it talks about cable cars, saying that they're still there, they're really old, they're knackered, but they're still usable. I may have it so that some, dastardly company thought, I can cash in on people's feelings about this system like 100 years ago to try and expand it, just so it becomes a bit more of a feature. And I think really that's probably, oh come on, let me zoom. That's probably enough just to make it also like stand out, be a bit visible, and therefore be interesting. How will it be maintained if there's no law in District 5? It's a very good shout. I think that there are some local communities that do look after it, and there are some companies and gangs that use it. So I think if it's in their interest for it to be functioning, then it will be. But a good world building question. You do have to wonder how these things persist, exist, and die in your world, whether or not they do. Oh, group that together. There we go. It's just got to go under the orange line. There we go. Okay, so we've got a little bit of, actually, it's got to go under the yellow line, isn't it? No, white line. No. I think what I'll be able to do is create a transit map and a district map and various different layers so that it represents different different bits, sections of the. You can see that some of these lines form some of these boundaries. Okay, cool. So that's cool. So we have. Where did I put those? Where did I put those maps? Maybe I just deleted them. Yep. Maybe I just deleted them. Okay, so we've got the cable car network, which is I've figured it can just get you to the edge of District 4. And in fact, that is probably therefore going to be our crossroads where Okazaki's noodle bar, somewhere around there. Because I want that to be a kind of nexus of transport. We'll see how the other transport networks transpire and if anything leaps out, because often it's how those connectivities and how those things come together that kind of spark an idea in your head when you are creating a world, how it actually evolves on the page as if it were kind of you're thinking through the growth of the settlement, the changes to the buildings, all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look. I've got a subway map here somewhere. Is this the right one? Again, it's one of those maps that's actually it's like the underground map. It's not a geographic map. It's a connectivity map. It's a graph rather than a map. What about this one? I think this is a fictitious one. Muni reworked. Day, but not all lines operate at all times. Okay. So this looks like a fairly decent image to use. I think this is actually a fake map. I'm not sure. I think someone had drawn something about New York. But hey, gotta find what you can, and then let's have a look. It was on a. Here we go. I get the feeling that that's that. No, I'm gonna match that up to there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a gang that run it. Yeah, being maintained by the drug dealer so they can get it from district to another. Yeah, exactly. So there's a gang who uses it for profit, therefore it's going to stay around. And what I want to do is do subway lines, because I think in different parts of the city these will be used for different reasons in different ways. Some of it would be maintained in District 4 by corporations, obviously, because it will want their people to get around. Whereas in District 5, it's probably going to be that these are hovels for gutter punks and hideouts for wormers, and where the badlanders kind of creep into the city from Oakland Free Trade Zone. So I'm kind of interested. One of the things I noted down in my book was a subway punk refuge. And you can kind of imagine the walls, murals of graffiti and temporary structures built up inside, down in these dark tunnels that are kind of probably as much war zone as they are transport. It's just another battlefield for the never-ending gang warfare that distracts them from taking down the corpse. Okay, now do I denote different lines as they've done here, or probably shouldn't I? Yeah, this is an interesting one. How's the stream doing? Hopefully you guys can see everything that's going on, and yeah, lyrics, another TV viewer. Hello everybody out there on Twitch. So we've got a big transport hub here, which makes sense. We've got a subway out to Presidio and the Golden Gate Bridge, and then we've got, which kind of makes sense, these east-west spanning oh sorry, I shouldn't make that noise, should I? East-west spanning subway tunnels. So let's pick a color. Let's go for the here we go. So I'm actually going to do a few curved lines on this one, just to represent tunnels a bit better. With the odd straight section, I don't know if these are real. Oh no, that goes all the way around to the other end. Here you go. That goes all the way down to here and beyond. Nice. A way for the trash to get into District 3. There you go. I was wondering how, what kind of methods there would be for someone intent on doing that. But it looks like they've thought of that, which is great. Robert, this all kind of works well. Okay, so that is one line. Just going to do them all blue for now, and let's mark them a bit clearer so that we can see. Right, let's do this one. Yep. Oh, stupid. Here we go. Finish the line, Peter. Double click. Here we go. I found that it's best not to actually, if you want proper curves, it's not to put the point at the point of the curve, but to manipulate, get smoother curves. Okay, here we go. Okay, this one here, this one here. So yeah, this is cool little train lines, subway lines, which will definitely be useful for thinking about getting around the city and how you can do certain jobs and things. And hopefully this will actually be useful for other people. That's part of the goal of this, is to have that produce some maps and tools and things that people will find useful. Okay, you could make a whole campaign around tunnel runners and the metro system. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things sort of going on in my head. It'd be really cool to have that kind of thing going on. I love the fact that all of these maps I've found only cover District 4 and 5. It's kind of weird happenstance. Right, here we go. Let's do a few more. So, yeah, I mean, I'm finding this really interesting. Hopefully, you guys, obviously you've probably got something else going on in the background as well, and you're kind of listening in and having a look every now and then. Um, hopefully these kind of world building sessions are useful, interesting. I mean, if they're not, and people would prefer instead that I was running a one shot of something when I get these random time slots, then I can. It's a bit tricky with other players to suddenly get everyone to drop everything. I mean, we did try to organise an Age of Sigmar one shot for yesterday. I mean, good job. It didn't happen because, as you all know, in the end, I couldn't actually make it. So, um, that would have been a bit annoying to everyone, actually. So, um, yeah, I mean, if do let me know in chat or on Discord or via email, however you want to let me know whether you're finding these sessions interesting. I mean, people seem to be joining in the conversation, which is nice. I'm going to simplify some of these a little bit just to make it a bit more. Here we go. And that's good. Okay, cool. Right, let's have a look. That's that. That's all those. We've got a number 2 that runs down to there. Let's have. This one's a bit more straight edged, I think. So I'm just gonna crack that one in there. That's cool. With a slight adjustment. Here we go. I really enjoy these types of streams, mate. Okay, cool. Thanks, Scott. I'm glad you do. This is, getting into how and why I make games. Hopefully it's interesting to other people. It's kind of, we're getting to a stage now where we run lots of games, and we have lots of social media stuff going on. But having these times where we can actually engage with you guys, chat, show what I'm doing, and interrupt me if you see something, an opportunity or an idea that you think, hey, have you thought about this? Oh, let's put another spot in there. Spot. Oh, your GIS lecturer would kick you up the butt for saying a spot. Let's go there. No. You. It's good. You can create vertices with different properties. So you can have ones where it's a curve through a point that when you adjust one, the other will change as well. Or you can have it that it's two lines coming together at a point that you can change. So, a corner or a smooth curve, which I think is I've found that very useful whilst using Inkscape. Okay, there's that one. Let's do this. Let's do 6. There we go. See, I'm building all of the line in case later on I want to change it up so that I can, have a different. Let's put one halfway through that curve, and it's like I get to have some influence about the campaign. I always have 100 ideas, and I'll have to come up with things. Yeah, absolutely. Join in, chip in. I want to hear thoughts and opinions as well, because you know, it's part of the fun of this, you know, interacting with you, all of you lovely people out there, is uh, one of the reasons I do this. To be, you know, to be fair, that and to satisfy my ridiculous ego. No. Here we go. So we've got a couple more to do, but not many more. That's just going to go. That goes up to there. And then I'll probably put some major hubs, and I might take a bit of poetic license with where subway, you know, you'll be able to access many points along each of these subway routes. I'm not going to draw every subway station. I want this to be fairly, you know, I'm going into detail, but I want to be fairly high level, so that I'm not saying you're on that street corner and oh no, the subway station is 5 blocks. I may do that for dramatic tension as part of the game, but not by just consulting the map and you know, and that kind of stuff. I want it to be, you know, this is a guide to the city, not a battle map, as it were. Let's go full blue, and let's go 3. There we go, and then we've got one more that goes up to there, through there. Okay, here we go. Fairly direct. I like having these lines that lead off of the known map. It's a bit like Here Be Dragons on a fantasy map, or Terra Incognita, you know, on a Victoriana map, or, you know, lines going off into District 3. Ooh, what goes on in there? Obviously, if my party turn around in the next session and say, we want to go and do a heist in District 1, I'll be like, fine, that's cool. I'll change tack and do a bit of that, but that's absolutely fine. I will curse them and probably throw lots of really terrible, hard creatures at them. But you know, that's fine. That's fine. LB group. There we go. So now we have got our subways, which is cool. So that, I think we can get rid of that. Should go down, up, subways. Cool. I may actually, no, it didn't like that. Let's go like that. I may just tone them down slightly to a 2. Yeah, I think that looks better actually. And I think the blue works. What do people think? Blue works underneath the white lines there to show where the subway links are without distracting too much. Let's group them together again though. Don't forget to do that. And you, I may actually stick you under the white. Yeah, I think that works. Cool. Okay, so we now have a fairly decent subway and cable car map. I'm just going to. This is where the stream. Yep, there you go. Stream's doing a bad thing. Okay, right. Let's not do that. Let's turn that off, and let's go on Openstreetmap. So you can go on Openstreetmap. That's a really cool, useful resource, which people contribute to, and you know, it's like it's a free mapping thing. You know, I use it at work a lot as the backdrop to maps because it's not proprietary, and you know, using Google data is tricksy. Okay, let's get this going on. So, San Francisco Openstreetmap. Okay. So, oh dear, you know what? Look at that. All of my white ones are separate again. I really need those to be joined. You know what I'm going to do? Ah, I've got an idea. Yep, I've got an idea. So what we'll do is we'll copy. No, we don't need to do that. I'm going to scroll out. I'm going to select everything there, group it together, because that's pretty good as it is now. Okay, and then crazy move. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move that off there, and I'm going to put some highways, major roads on this map. So we have, let's zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'm doing this from I on my phone. This is again classic Pete technique. So there's one that goes up to there. Okay, here we go. It goes from here to here with a little bend in it. Okay, and that's going to be red. I know we've got red, haven't we? Let's go. Yeah, let's do a yellow. Let's do a yellow line. I think it's a little bit over. And I have one across here. Here we go. From here to here. Then one from here down to here. In fact, I think I was right with it before. It's there. You go there. Cool. And then you have a little kink in it. So major highways. Here we go. Right. I'm such an idiot. I just nodded. Yeah, I have lots of ideas, and they, you know, I spend a lot of time trying to build things. I've got this. There's, as you may be aware, I'm trying to design my own kind of lightweight role-playing game, which was called Grimdark, but I think I'm now going to call Dodeca because it uses 12-sided dice, obviously. And here we go. This one here, down to here, down to here, down to here. That's it there. That's on the edge of that, and that will continue down to here, 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 here. Okay, and then we've got big one. Like this. Here. Here, that's going to be a cut off. That used to flow up into the Presidio area, but it's being cut off now. And this road here is going to be treacherous territory. Oh, that's a weird kink I put in there, isn't it? There we go. You could have one tech gang running their maintenance, one gang who sell the drugs, one who collect extortion, one who take care of assassinating, and they are all in war against the other, and on top there could be a crime boss. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be, the gangs will all have different focus, an area that they want to really control in the city. Oh, let's get the tool back. So we have one going from here to here, there. I think there's going to be one going off the map, as it were. Oh, no, delete that one. Here, here, here. And then we need this big. You can see this one on the map. Here we go. And then we can see this one as well. And one who to take care of kidnapping. Oh, blimey. Yeah, I mean, the Snakehead Tong are into human trafficking and stuff, so they do a lot of that bad stuff. That goes to there. Ah, right, okay. Then we've got one that runs down here and joins up this one. That's cool. And then we have a connector across here, and then one that runs from there to there, but in an interesting squiggle. And I think that'll probably do it for now. I'm guessing this line will probably fit with some of the I think there's like a little mountain pass up here. There we go. Let me just check there's nothing else. Oh, there's one through the dog patch, which is here. Cool. Let's bend, don't break. There we go. That looks better. Okay, cool. So we've got some, you know, that one there looks like one, doesn't it? I'm just going to whack one in there, I think, because that also seems to make sense from a map perspective. That curves around. Yep. These are, of course, as I said earlier on, these are going to be the major highways, you know, and some of these have been developed so much that they are sort of on top or between the buildings themselves. So it's pretty. Let's go 3. Yep, and then connect that one. Group. Okay, cool. Ah, no, missed one. There you go. There's always one. There's always one. Right, so let's group those together. And then what we'll do is we shall bring back all our other stuff. And you can see now it's starting to get a bit busy. It's going to come to the top. It's starting to look a bit more like a metropolitan map, which I quite like. I think I had a bit poking out there. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Starting to look busy. Do we think? I quite like it. I'm probably going to have to do as I said earlier on, a transport map and then have a neighbourhood map with the names on separately, because I don't think that it will. I'm not sure you could look at that for a long time in its current form. But obviously the goal is to make something that is, you know, useful, informative. So I may actually just make a 4-panel slide that looks like this, which has maybe not 4. Does it need to be 4? Maybe 3 cities on one landscape panel that has districts with names on, then subway and cable car, and then major highways. So you've got all 3 next to each other and you can see the names, but it would show different layers, and that looked quite cool, I think, as a graphic for the channel, for the show. Let's have a look. Do we think that would look good for the show? I think that looked good for the show. So, right, that's okay. Let's have a look. Let's capture. So this is, yeah, weird numbers, width and height. I don't know why it's like that. Okay, let's go like this. And this time I will just grab what is required. In fact, I haven't sized down Tarmac City. Group that again. Let's just go into here for a minute. Up. 11, I think it was. And these were reduced as well. There we go. Isn't there too many lines now? Yeah, that's yeah. I know there's a bit of lag on this, so maybe that's the comment I was just making. That it's, and again, as I was talking about earlier on, production of maps, you know, clarity and usefulness is key. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this object. And that's going to give it a headache. Okay, then we can grab, oh, whoops, not that bit. That bit. Bring it to the top. Yep. And oh, it needs to be. Okay, so that needs to. Okay, need to copy the whole thing 3 times. Okay, so how has it done that? That's weird. Okay, here we will do this. Okay, and that and that. There we go. So this is going to be our name map. Yeah? So that's going to have our neighborhoods with the names. Okay. And what we should do is just shorten that so it's just on the map. And I will need to put the sort that out in a minute. Didn't capture the Oakland Bay Bridge. There we go. It's there. Just didn't shorten it. It's more than the point. Okay. And we will go pop. There we go. That works. Oh, copy. Okay. That's cool. That's good. Right. So we've got this is the that's going to be the view for names. In fact, it's probably just going to be in there. And then this will be. Do I remove the neighborhoods and just have the transit lines? That could be interesting. Let's have a look. Of course, the neighborhoods is all the lines. I forgot to group them together. Learn from my mistakes. There we go. Okay. I think I should remove. I think we should have a transport map and a neighborhood map. What do people think about that? So we can have one beside the other and people can sort of go, oh, where's that? What's that? Who's that? Or, no, maybe I drop all the neighborhoods to the bottom. It's just the scale. It will be easier when expanded. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, redo that one, is that group, and that needs to come up, up, up. Yeah, I think a transport map and then a names map maybe. Because it would still be, I think it would still be useful for the players to see the neighborhoods. Because that's where they're trying to get to and from. Maybe we do one like that, subway and cable car, as I said earlier on. And then we do another one which is major highways. I think that might be a good idea. So we've got that one. And then what we're going to do is we are going to get blue. Oh, here we go. Okay. You slide down like that. You are annoying. Blue. Red. No. Delete. Yellow to the top and then down under the. They're not all separate, so that one can come up to the top. That's a very tight in zoom there, sorry. But I think that will give a pretty good idea of the highways. Yeah. Okay. Yes, major road network. Cool. I don't like the fact that it is yellow. Ah, I've got the wrong thing selected. But red is just a bit about like a... No, because we had red before, didn't we? I said yellow. Green, just so it's a different colour from a lot of the other maps. Or was yellow okay? What do people think? I will wait a couple of seconds while the stream catches up. But here you can see we're building up different views. And I think what I'll do, I may even make a little District 4 and 5 special inlay map. Here we go. Just had a thought. Let's make this. Yep. Okay, let's pop this over here. And let's reduce the... Come on, 100%. There we go. And then what we do is we go here. Come over here. And we're going to chop. I'm going to chop more. Here we go. I hope this will just screw it up, I think. Oh no, hello. Normally it doesn't like that kind of thing. One second. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. I was muted. Hello. Yes, I've got to run shortly because the family's home and dinner is imminent. Well, not imminent. I've got to go and cook dinner. So what I'm doing is just rounding off with a little bit of prep. So I'm going to make a little map that I'll share on the Patreon for all our patrons. and this will show you what we're going to do. Object set, there we go. So what we can do is, oh, mm, mm, what was that I clicked on behind? That's a bit weird. Yeah, no, I have to. I've turned it on again. I've turned it on again. I know there's a I know there's a lag, and I'm prone to forgetting to turn the sound on. So let's go like this. Here we go. This would just be a nice giveaway I can give to my page. Oh no, what am I doing? Up the top, you align, and I want you to go slightly that way. Then whoa, you expand up, you expand. Come on, where's that thing gone? So now I'm just trying to put together this last little view on. Here we go. Let's zoom out. Cool. Okay. And what you can see here, I mean, it's not quite finished. But as I said, I'm going to have to go shortly. Not, oh, not quite finito. However, we can have something like a gold boundary encapsulating them so that they then get is that good? Have we got it good? Yep, it's good there. Something like that. Oh, yep, that'll do. Okay, cool. So it's not quite good enough there. Here we go. So select all of those elements, group them together. That object we will, oh god, look at that. Object we will align and transform with the page so it's central, so it looks a bit better. And then actually, here we go. Let's fit in a Francisco neighbourhood transit. Would help if I could type, wouldn't it? 4 and 5. Neighbourhood and transit maps. Here we go. And then we just copy this and we go cable car. And subways. And we shrink that down a bit. We work that there. And then we go major highways. Leave that there. I think that's fairly close to that. And then this one we're going to put down here. I'm going to put district 4 and 5. Oh, neighbour. There we go. District 4 and 5 neighbourhoods. That one's going to be. Oh no. Hold down Control, Peter. In fact, is there a space on there? Whoa, hello. Went out to orbit. I think over there is good, and yeah. And what I can even do is I can this map now. I tell you what, I'm gonna. That's pretty good actually. I quite like that. I'm gonna share that with patrons as it is, in case they want to name the areas themselves. But I will then add names to it as well. And that I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that looks pretty cool. We've got our our district neighbourhoods over here. I'm going to name them all, and that will have a bit more detail in there. We've got our major highways going through the city, and I think I'm going to think about how they're kind of multi-stacked and between buildings and different areas. And then we've got the subways and the cable car. Cable car, we've already discussed, is going to be maintained by the gangs because it's one of the most reliable, although very old school. It's reliable. It's not hackable because it's a mechanical system. So they use it for drug running, human trafficking, but also the poor downtrodden people have no other choice but to try occasionally to grab onto one of those cable cars to drag them out of the sludge that's down in the trash swamps. And then we've got the blue subways, which will be in District 5, a lot of those areas will be taken up with the downtrodden, gutter punks, gangs, and all that kind of stuff. And over in District 4, they'll actually be maintained. So they'll probably, at the boundaries between the two districts, I'm guessing there'll be conflict between corporate security and gutter punk gangs, badlanders being forced out of the area by gangs, people down on their luck, all that kind of thing. And then I'm going to flesh out District 3, 2, and 1 as we go, and hopefully do another session like this with lovely viewers. But for now, that's going to be the end of my world building session. This map will be up on my Patreon very soon, allowing people to get their hands on this and use it in their game if they want to. I understand it doesn't cover the whole of the city, but I think District 4 and 5 make a good place for lots of thanks Ben, it looks a lot better like that, doesn't it? This will be a good tool for people to use. Please don't forget to go and check out all our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Join us on our Discord. There's loads of stuff going on in Discord. And also check out our Patreon. Our $4 tier patrons will get this map and all the tiers above to use in their Carbon 2185 campaign. That's one reason to come. There's the broader map. There's the first mission map. I've got a couple of other Shadowrun Returns level editor maps in the works. I'm not going to talk about those because it might be giveaways. But with that, I'm actually going to try and build some generic locations that I could, if the guys wander off and go somewhere, I could, pop one out quite handily. So check out our Patreon. We're giving loads of stuff away. There's loads of things on there. Please don't forget to subscribe to us on Twitch. If you're watching this back on YouTube later on, once I've uploaded it, then please also subscribe to us on YouTube. Everyone who supports us and helps us in any way, it's an absolute massive help, even if that's just a like on a video or a share on a social media platform. It's amazing. And thank you very much everyone for joining me today. Don't forget to watch our shows. Tomorrow we've got Pathfinder 2e, Path of the Pilgrim, with Ben running it and giving away a GM screen. Wednesday we've got Exalted Veils, and it's a Kickstarter one-shot special where we're giving away 5 Kickstarter upgrades. And then on Thursday, join me and the team with this map and more on Chrome Dystopia as we continue our adventures in San Francisco in the year 2185. Cool. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for watching, joining, and watching later on. And see you out there in the scummy holes of District 5. Bye-bye.